Welcome YouTube, it is Matt from Hobby Spot NZ here, and we're taking a look at some German vehicles today. So what we have in front of us is four vehicles that I intend to use for my German force. First, left to right, we've got the Tiger 1. We have the Panzer 4, that's the H model, without the Schertzens. We have the Hanomag, or the half-track carrier, and then we've got the Opel Blitz truck. What I was going to talk about today was just some time wise, how long it took to paint, the paint scheme, decals, the weathering, all that kind of stuff. So what we have, we'll get into it. This is the Tiger, which is probably my favorite out of the bunch. Lots of really good detail on the top. This one's the Tiger 1 model. I went with the grey kind of blitz color scheme for this, even though this was a little bit later. This was probably I like to imagine this one as one of the early ones. It's got the Sable, which is saber in German. So that is the Tiger 1, basically. It took me probably about 20 minutes to put together the plastic kit sort of thing, and then it took me probably about, I don't know, an hour or two to paint it up. Really easy. All of these have basically a 4 or 5 color dry brush up from black, and then with the weathering, there's about 4 different types of colors for the weathering. So you start from a dark brown and you work your way up to like a really dusty, like a dusty sandy color. And then what I do to get the little the weathering is I just sort of splot it on with a rough brush, and you just kind of dot away at it. So the decals I've used is just the ones that come with it, just the standard German symbols, and then there's a couple on the back there as well. This one has 5 kills. I've just been doing like a kind of rough sort of paint job, and that is the Saber tank. And all my tanks are going to have like individual names. And then next is the Panzer 4. This one's called the Dog. And basically, it hasn't got the Schertzens or anything on it. Medium tank, I believe. Yeah, it's a nice little model too. It didn't take me too long to make this one. This one is more complex than the Tiger was. And yeah, it's they're nice little tanks. Again, it's just that same grey color scheme. You can see there. Again, 5 kills or 5 tours or whatever. So that's the Panzer as well. I'll just show you some of the detailing on the tracks. Just mud. It's hard to pick up with this kind of light, but you can see the different types of colors in there. Just bringing it up. You need a few different colors just to bring the depth of it through. And yeah, I've been doing a common theme with the black muzzle brakes too. So that's the tanks. They were real cool to put together. Definitely a showpiece on the field and a must-have, so I'll definitely be playing a game with those at some stage. Moving on to the Hanomag. So this guy here, again, same color scheme. I've done a bit of a custom guys in the back there. There's a Panzerfaust on the ground, a couple guys, and there's actually a guy in there driving too. Can't really see him, it's a bit dark in there, but there's a guy in there driving too. These are really cool. I really like the Hanomag models. It's nice transport for guys, and it's got that good amount of weaponry on it as well. And again, the paint scheme's all the same, and the weathering's the same too. The decals, nice and easy. Chopped them out, got them really close to where the print was. Chucked them on with a bit of water, 20-30 seconds in the water is fine. Just use a bit of a brush to put them onto where you need. And what I do is I, afterwards, instead of putting a gloss before or afterwards, like a varnish or anything like that, I just put a bit of really watered down PVA glue over the top, and it will leave like a little, it's hard to see on this, but there's like, you can see around the edges just by that zero there's sort of like a different tinge, and what you can do with that later on is just paint over the top of that, basically, just go back over with a grey. And to make the stickers look a little bit more weathered and not as glossy, you just dab them with like a couple bits of brown or black, or for chipping, and that just makes them look a little bit dirty and used and not so brand new, like they've just been painted on, sort of thing. Last but not least is the Opal Blitz, which is a transport, and I've opted to put the cover on. This is a really cool model. I really enjoyed making this model, and I did camo for the first time, so I did sort of like a large P dot scale. Put an extra guy in the front there, and what I did with this model is I magnetized this. So all the guys in the back are magnetized. And in here you can see those two pillars up the front. They have been glued in, and they are just bits off a plastic sprue, and then I've drilled into the front side, if I can show you, see those two little holes there, two magnets. And then what I did for this is I drilled two more magnets into the front, and then so what that allows to do is you can run it open topped like so, or you can run it with the top on, the cover rather, the canvas. Now it's not real stable. It'll hold together when you're pushing it around the table and stuff, but because there's no magnets on the back side of it there, it'll just pop off if you turn it upside down, anything on there. It just helps it a little bit. But yeah, the P dot camo was an undercoat of like a dark green, and then I got a sponge material, so you can just use that. I actually used like an old foundation, brush that you'd use from like makeup and stuff, and I used that to dot on some of the patterns, and then I just used a brush to do that. You just 3 or 4 dots and do about 5 or 6 different colors, bright colors and dark colors as well. So that's the Opal Blitz. You can turn it into the half-track model as well. I went for the truck model just because I like that. I think you can actually get a machine gun on that too, but I opted not to. It's just like a standard transport. So there we have it. There are the German vehicles which I've painted up for bolt action, and I hope you guys like this video. I just want to do some more bolt action stuff and show you some of the progress. I have done a lot of other German stuff as well, and we'll be doing some more artillery and things in the coming weeks. I've got basically at the moment, Pack 43 and some little vehicles like a motorcycle and stuff like that to do. So we'll come back to that when it's ready, and I will see you guys in the next one.